The first step in the process is you've got to get this on your Windows machine. It's called git-cm.com. Just click on Windows, download it, done. The next thing you need to install is Node.js for Windows. You'll do it at this website address. Click on your Windows installer, done. Without those, nothing works. Once those are installed, you should be able to go to a DOS prompt or command line and type in node-v and end up with a version, and npm-v and end up with a version. That lets you know that the node portion of this is working properly. Now I'd like you to create a directory structure that looks exactly like this. CM System Scanner Electron Local inside of a CM folder. With that done, right-click on this white space. There should be nothing in there. Right-click on this white space, choose Git Bash here. That's going to open up something that looks like a command line in Linux. I'm going to increase that font size a little bit. And at this point, we're going to clone or check out the repo with this command. You'll notice there is a period at the end. And this B electron tells us that is the branch we wish to check out. If there's nothing in the current directory and there needs to be completely empty, no hidden files or anything, this period at the end will cause it to be checked out in the current directory. Done. And if we do a listing of that directory, that's what you should be looking at. Okay, with that all installed, it's time to build our executable. We're going to start off by typing npm and the letter I, which means install. There are no dashes here. It's normal to have a little delay there. And if it's successful, that's what you should end up with. And then right behind that, we're going to type in np, and I want to show you something. You notice that directory structure right now. In fact, we'll show it to you in Windows. Same thing, right? I want you to watch the Windows folder structure. You're going to see one folder called dist, which our executable will be kept in. The other folder you already see, which is node modules, got put in during our last command. npm run build win. That's the command to create the executable. Okay, the node modules is already there. The dist is put in there with this command. Node modules was put in there with the previous command. Okay, so that's done. We're going to move this out of the way for a minute so you can see the end result. We have in the distribution folder, that's the icon right there. That's the icon you're going to install on your web server. If I double click on it, you see it installs in the Windows computer. And when done, we'll show them the GUI interface that they'll run their program with. I'll go ahead and close that for now. Now, before we leave this area, I want to make mention there are some files in here that have meanings that you can change. For instance, if I go into package JSON, you can see the name of the application, and these underscores are required. There can be no space on the name. The product name, however, can have spaces, and these things translate into other areas of this program. So when the end user clicks on these things, these are the names that they're going to see. For instance, if you want to change the version number to something larger to make it a little bit, look like it's been around the block a little bit, we'll make that version 2.3. There, that sounds better. Okay, and we'll go ahead and save that. And while we're here, we may as well go ahead and show you how to upload these changes to GitHub. First, we're going to do a git add with a period. It'll get all files. And then we're going to do a git commit. And changed. You can put whatever you want there. These are comments, but they have to be supplied. It lets you know what files. It shows 2 changes. And lastly, we're going to push. And then the branch name, just like that. And that's it. Now your website, your GitHub repo has the same information that your local does. Now, the last few files that will be of some interest to you, if you ever change the domain name, your website, the website that's associated with this project, if we look at scanner.html, we're going to find references to, in our case, upgradematter.com. Ignore this one. This is a commented out from a development environment that we no longer use. So this is the live web server. And if you change that name for any reason, you're going to have to change it in here. The same thing with JS main. So you'll find a reference in there. And finally, just your main JS off the root directory, you will find a reference in there. I take that back. There's no URL reference in this one. This is about DevTools. So DevTools is, let's say you needed to troubleshoot a bad connection. You would want to change that to true, because by doing so, I'll give you an example of that. I'm going to change that to true, save it, and then we're going to rerun the build command. Okay, with that done, we'll now see you got 2.3 over here. I'll go ahead and double click on that. And you'll notice there's a console that shows up. We certainly don't want our end users to be looking at something like that, but during troubleshooting, this will certainly be of value to us to determine if it's making a connection to the database or not. For instance, if I put in a name and an email address and a phone number and scan, you'll see that we've got some feedback from the database that it has in fact made a connection. You see the different files that it's interacting with. So if we had a failure, that failure would show up here immediately. And we can look at other elements associated with it. Now we'll go ahead and close that. I'll go back in there and turn that to false. Rebuild the application. And we can see there's no console associated with it. And that's the end of this. This is how, in a Windows environment, you would create the executable that you would put on the server. Thanks for watching.